Alright, what's up guys? We're doing a quick tutorial on internal storage part 2. Last tutorial we set up everything, but what we're going to do in this tutorial is actually kind of talk through saving the data. It's going to be pretty quick, not too much to do. Alright, first thing is we're going to set up two strings, file name and journal or journ, and there we go. So this is going to be actually our string information from our edit text. So let's set up our save buttons on click listener. So we're going to say save and do set on click listener to this and implement on click listener. Nothing new so far, right? And so now we have that set up. We're going to set up our two new strings that we just created. So file name is going to be equal to our file name.getText.toString. Again, this shouldn't be anything new. We're just returning the information. We might want to do an if statement real quickly, because if they forget to have a file name, it might give us an error later. So we're going to say if file name dot contents equal, and that's just comparing two strings as well. So we're going to say if the contents equals pretty much nothing, we're going to have file name be equal to untitled. Get it? Alright, so far once we click our save button, it's going to create our file name string, and if that string is nothing, we're going to set it to be untitled, which is our file name. Alright, so next thing that we have to do is set up our journal entry. So we're going to say journ is equal to entry.getText.toString. Again, all this boring stuff, and if this has nothing, that doesn't really matter. Who cares, right? Alright, so now getting into saving the information. Again, we're going to talk about saving internal storage, so like the user won't be able to access this information. It's correlated with our app, our specific app. So if you uninstall the app, all this information gets deleted. So that's something to keep in mind, because it's internal storage. It's kind of storing it on the device and within the app itself. So alright, the first thing that we need to do is we need to save this information. So we're outputting some information from our app to be saved. And now when you output information, you throw it in a river and it takes it down the river and saves it somewhere. But instead of calling it a river, it's actually a stream. It's not very powerful. It's just like a little trickling river. So a stream, right? So that's what we need to create first, is a file output stream. Anytime you save some information, you're going to need a file output stream. We're just going to label this as FOS, and we're going to set this up to be open file output, because essentially the river's not there yet until you like open up the earth or something, and then you get a river. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So anyways, you got to open up this file output stream, and we're going to say file out, or let's just do the quick command. And you have two parameters, as you can see here. The first one is going to be your your file name. So what we're actually saving. So this is basically anytime you in a Word document you hit save as, and then you type out what you want it to be saved as. That's what this first parameter is our file name. So if they typed out the specific file name they want to save it as, then it's going to save it to that. Otherwise, if they didn't type anything, it's going to be saved as untitled, and it's going to write over the untitled that was previously saved as well. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. The next thing will be your mode. So we're going to say context, and you have four modes. You have append, private, world readable, and world writable. And I'm just going to talk about these last three here. Private is going to mean only your application is going to have access to this internal storage that we're saving. The user won't be able to browse through his files on his phone and find this file name, because it's going to be hidden completely. No one's going to have access to it, but our app itself can refer to this information, communicate with it, save information privately, but no other apps or the user cannot find this information by themselves. Hopefully that makes sense. World readable, what that means is you can have two different applications that can refer to the same information. So in our application, we have information that we can save these journal entries, but the GUI doesn't look too good, the user interface doesn't look too pretty. So let's say someone else across the world creates a different app, and it's going to basically read whatever journal entries you have saved, but make it look a lot prettier, look a lot nicer. That's what their application does. They're going to have to be able to read information from our application, so we're going to give them access to be able to read the information. We're going to let them be able to change those journal entries, but they can at least access it. So that's what writable or readable means. And writable means the same thing, except that person across the world could also change or edit our journal entries. So you probably don't want to have a writable unless if you have things planned out pretty well. But we're just going to stick with private, just so our activity or application can use this information. And set it up like that. And the first thing you notice, we get an error because we need a try and a catch. So let's just do that real quickly. Surround with try and catch. So if the file not found exception happens, it's going to give us an error and print that to the stack trace. Okay. So now that we have our file output stream set up, our river is starting to flow a little bit, we need to throw some information into the stream, or write some information on a piece of paper, put it in a bottle, and throw it in the stream, right? So we're going to refer to our file output stream, and we're going to say write, and as you can see, it writes bytes or information to the output stream, and that's what we need to do. Alright, we need to write a number of bytes, which is a byte array buffer here, as you can see here. And how you do that is we're going to refer to the string information that we're writing, which will be our journ, and we're just going to say dot get bytes. So that's going to, obviously, as you see here, it's going to return a byte array, which is what this parameter is looking for. So just click that, and we have written some information to our file output stream. And again, we have to add a different clause to our try, so we're going to say that, and it's our input output exception, and again, print to the stack trace if we get an error. Alright, we threw our bottle in the river. Looks like it went downstream and ended up somewhere. Now I don't want anyone else to see this secret river I have, so you gotta throw some dirt back on the river and cover it up, or close the river. So we're gonna say FOS and say close, and shabam! We are done, fellas. I mean, that's how easy it is to write information internally. And again, whatever mode you want to have, that's probably the most important concept, is your mode. So, hopefully everything made sense. If not, leave me a comment and I'll try and make it in the next tutorial. So again, thanks guys for watching, subscribing, following us on Twitter and Facebook. You guys are freaking awesome, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.